across here. So 5 and 8 must go here, and therefore an 8 must go in one of these two squares. So if these are 5 and 8, these therefore must be a 2 and a 6. The 6 blocks down, giving us this 2 and this 6. This 7 blocks these two squares here, therefore a 7 must go here. And these two empty squares must be an 8, and this 8 of course blocks over here, and a 4. So it is clear that a 2 must go in one of these three squares, and we know that this 2 blocks down here. We know that a ghost 2 here blocks down here, so a 2 goes here. Here now we must have a 4 and we must have a 3. The 4 blocks this square. It must be a 3, this must be a 4. The remaining digit has got to be a 6. Here, of course, we need a 2, 7 and a 3. We can't solve any of those yet, but I'm sure we'll get to them very soon. The 6 blocks across here and this 6 blocks up. So we know that one of these two must be a 6 blocking over and this 6 blocking over. So a 6 must go in one of these two positions in row 6. But it's early days to figure out which of these squares is going to be the 6. There's an 8 blocking these two squares. That means that an 8 must go in one of these two squares in row 1. Now let's have a look at the 2 here and the 4 here and a possible 8 here. That's a 2, 4, 8. Now let's look at this square. For this square we need a 2, 4, 8 or a 5, because we need a 2, 4, 8 and a 5 for these squares. Since this cannot be a 2, 4 or an 8 now, it must be a 5. Now these must be a 2, 4 and an 8. Let's have another look at these 4 empty squares in column 2. We need to find an 8, a 9, 3 and a 4. 3 and a 4 block here, so this is an 8 or a 9. 3 and a 4 block here, so this is an 8 or a 9. And now we have a 3 and a 4 in these two squares. Does it give me anything at all? I'm wondering. It doesn't really. Well, we know that these are 3 and 4s, so maybe we can figure out something else. 9 and 8 block over 8, so we know that an 8 must go either here or here, and that means that we have an 8 also here or here. I can't really say the same for the 9. It's still being a little bit elusive. But it does have some ramifications, I believe, because we have an 8 in one of these two squares blocking across, so this cannot be an 8. And we need a 2, 4 and an 8 for these squares. So if this cannot be an 8 and it also cannot be a 4, it follows that it must be a 2. Now we have a 2 blocking up here and across here. So here's a 2. And that gives us a 2 for this square here. So here now we're looking for a 9 and a 5 and a 6. 6 blocks here, 6 blocks here. Therefore, a 6 must go here. This is now a 5 and a 9. And we have a 5 blocking this square, of course, so it must be a 9, and the 5 is forced to go in this position here. Now we are looking at a 6 and an 8 for the top row in box 1. The 6 blocks this square. It must be an 8 and this must be a 6. Here only an 8, and we know that an 8 had to go here or here. So the 8 goes in this square. And a 7 must go here because it's the last digit missing from the column. And here now 4, 3 and a 9. The 4 and the 3 of course still block this square, which now must be a 9. Here we are needing a 7 and a 1. The 7 blocks this square. It must be a 1 and this must be a 7. The 1 blocks up here, the 1 blocks over here. One of these is a 1. 4 and 8 block up here. 4 and 8 block over here. 4 and 8 somehow in 2 of these 3 squares. And a 1 in one of these 2 squares. What else is missing? A 3. 3 I don't know much about. And a 9. The 9 of course must go here. So across here now 1, 3 and a 7. 7 must go here, here, but we knew that. Now we got 6 and 9, and we got 6 and 9. 6 and 9 must go in 2 of these 3 squares. And let's look over here. This is a 3, 5. Therefore, this is a 4, 8, and a 7. The 7 blocks up, and the 7 blocks over. Here's a 7. This is now a 4 and an 8. We also have a 4 and an 8 here. So while I'm not getting any further on those, I can look at the 1 blocking over here and up here, giving me this 1. Now we have a 1 in this square, and therefore this must be a 1. 3, 4, 8 now for these squares here. 3 blocks over and up. Here's the 3. This is 4, 8, and this is a 4, 8. Now we have this 3 blocking across, and this 3 also blocks across. This 3 blocks up. Here's a 3. That gives me a 3 for this square here. These now must be a 7 and a 2. And we can solve those because this 7 blocks across. So does this. Here's a 7, giving me a 7 here and a 2 here. Choose block across. Here's a 2. And here now we need a 9, I believe, and a 5. The 5 blocks over. Here's a 9. Here's a 5. Now we have a 5 here. And that automatically gives us a 3 here and a 4 here. Here's now a 4 and a 4 here and an 8 here and an 8 here. These 2 empty squares must be a 9 and a 6. The 9 blocks up. Here's a 6. Here is the 9. 6 and 6 and 6 add up to a single 6 here. Yes, I'm not a math genius. That's got to be said. Here we're looking for an 8. Now we have an 8 here, and we have a 5 here. That gives us a 5 here, and the final 4 goes here. Again, a neat puzzle from El País. I've said it before, I'll repeat it now. I really love these puzzles because they are so different from the usual New York Times hard puzzles. I hope that you enjoyed this celebration puzzle. Thank you again for the 700 subscriptions. See you back here again soon. Bye for now.